Slithering through the shadows of swampy secrecy, the African dwarf crocodile is a pint-sized predator with a penchant for peculiarity. This crafty critter lurks in the murky margins of rivers and wetlands, a miniature menace surrounded in mystery. Some whisper of a clan cloaked in an eerie, otherworldly hue, thriving where light dares not linger, a riddle wrapped in a reptile. So, settle in as we wade into the weirdness, like the African dwarf crocodile in life, death, and taxonomy.
Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, you can visit us at our home on the web at lttaxonomy.com. And a very special thank you to our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on. If you would like to donate, just visit patreon.com/LD Taxonomy or click on donate on our website.
And today we're talking about a petite predator, relatively speaking, but more on that later.
Yeah, there's petiter ones.
For sure. We talked about a cat who's a very, very effective petite.
Which cats predator. In general are any cat is a pretty good predator. But yeah, we're in my wheelhouse. Whenever my kids ask me what my favorite animal is, it's this kind of animal. And if you come to my house, you have to have a favorite animal because you will be asked what it is, and there's got to be an answer. So if you don't really think about what your favorite animal is all the time, come prepared.
If you're one of those people that says cats or dogs, you get jumped. You get jumped in the backyard. That's what happens.
Yeah, we have beating sticks for those people.
We all like dogs and cats.
That's not news to anybody, okay? What weird animal is your favorite? What zoo animal is your favorite, basically? and we it's been years and we are still on emus.
It's real then. It's not just
it wasn't a phase.
It's not a phase.
It's baffling. Then we go to the zoo to see the emus, and he's like, "Nah, I don't really feel like seeing them." I thought they were your favorite. Anyway, what are we talking about? We're not talking about emus.
He doesn't want never meet your heroes. He knows that the wisdom of that.
Yeah, they were better. They're more interesting in his mind than they could ever be just standing there eating lettuce on the outside of the fence.
But we are not talking about emus. We're talking about the African dwarf crocodile.
That's right. That's my answer. Is at least once a day when I'm asked, "What's your favorite animal?" It's crocodiles and alligators. I cheat. It's two of them.
It's great.
But
mine's the American black bear. We are American in our animal choices.
I guess there's crocodiles in North America.
That's true.
But yeah, alligators and crocodiles for me. If I had to choose one, it would be the saltwater crocodile, just because it's a lone dinosaur. And it's the biggest one. But the African dwarf crocodile is also known as the West African dwarf crocodile, the broad-snouted crocodile, which to me makes it an alligator, but whatever. And the bony crocodile. Those are its other pseudonyms. But we're going to call it here the Carrot Croc, the Trump Chomp, and Willy Wonka's Factory Rejects.
Okay. Would you like to know what Willy Wonka's Factory Rejects? Is that because it's like an Oompa Loompa?
Yes, because it's like an Oompa Loompa.
Gotcha. Because it has green hair.
Yes. Well, no, because it works for no wages outside of cocoa beans.
Well, would you like to know what what animals have to go? What science has to call it?
Yes, I would.
What's in the kingdom? You know, love and are in the kingdom Animalia. It's in the phylum Chordata. Mm-hmm. It's in the class Reptilia. If you like clades, then it's in Archosauromorpha. It's in 2 clades. I don't know why. I don't understand clades.
If you like clades, then it's a field day for you.
Archosauriformes. Morpha informes. It's the form and morph.
Anamorphs.
Of an Archosaura. It's in the order Crocodilia, family Crocodilidae, subfamily Osteolaminae. Osteolaminae. Laminae. I don't know. The genus Osteolaemus and the species Tetraspis. Osteolaemus tetraspis.
That's right. And since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for the listener's favorite part of the show, nitty-gritty nomenclature. The part of the show where I ask you, Joe, a question, and that is, what is the English translation for the binomial nomenclature, which we have just established is Osteolaemus tetraspis? What does that mean in English? Does it mean A, bony sides, earth nails, B, strong-boned top snout, C, left-sided bone crocodile, or D, four-shielded bony throat? Osteolaemus tetraspis.
So bone is definitely part of it.
It's in all 4. I knew you would know that, so there's that. It's not going to help.
Tetra is a familiar word to me. Run those by me again.
A is bony sides, earth nails. B is strong-boned top snout. C is left-sided bone crocodile. And D is four-shielded bony throat.
The one with earth in it. Final answer.
My scheme worked perfectly. No, that is incorrect. The answer is four-shielded bony throat. Tetra.
That was my second choice.
Tetrahedron.
I did not. You saying that was the first time I heard you say 4. I thought you said force-shielded.
Oh.
Like a Jedi.
Sorry. Four-shielded. I guess if you put it together.
Yeah.
Four-shielded. No. Four-shielded.
Tetra means 4.
Bony throat, yes. Tetra means 4. Aspis means shield. And then osteo means of bones. And then lamus is throat.
Dang.
I thought I was going to
I knew 2 of those words.
When I thought of Tetra, I was like, oh, that kind of feels like Terra. So we're going to put Earth in there.
I remembered Tetra, but I couldn't remember that it was 4. I just knew that it was familiar to me. So I was like, okay, maybe that's familiar to me because of Earth.
Because Terra. I'm on Earth. That's where I live.
Yeah.
But yeah, four-shielded bony throat. Osteolaemus tetraspis. That's what this crocodile is.
Do you want to know
that sounds
what it looks like?
Sounds like an angel. It's like a biblically accurate angel. 4 shields, bone throat, like it's 6 faces, looking at all 4 cardinal directions, with fire spewing out of their eyes, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Do you want to know what it looks like?
Yeah, I would.
The African dwarf crocodile is kind of cute. It's like a cute little crocodile. It's like if you took a crocodile and made it cute, that's what it would be.
When I was a kid, I wanted a caiman as a pet. because I loved crocodiles, but obviously it was not logistically.
But you're a reasonable person. You love crocodiles, but you're not unreasonable.
I love crocodiles, but I'm not going overboard here. But I wanted a caiman because those things can be just a couple feet long. This is not a couple feet long still, though.
They have short, broad snouts and heavily armored bodies with dark, mottled skin that ranges from brownish to grayish tones, providing excellent camouflage if you like to live in a murky place. Yeah, it's a short-snouted little crocodile with big black eyes sometimes. And yeah, it's cute. It looks like a baby crocodile. It's got the proportions of a baby.
So this is cute, but the Amazon otter is not.
No, because you can have a reptilian grossness to you and still be kind of endearing if you're not a mammal. I expect more from you as a mammal.
This is cute for a dinosaur.
Yes. It's cute for a nasty, cold-blooded river monster.
Yes. I'll give you that.
But if you're a mammalian river monster, you better bring the heat.
But yeah, there's the mammals just have a different level of cute. They operate on it in a different sphere that's above this.
Yeah, and plus, like, there's other otters that just put it to shame in the cute department. So.
Yeah, but I think that even that puts a lot, if not most, other mammals to shame.
Depends on what you. I disagree. I think it's intentionally.
Like dogs and cats and stoats and mice and stuff. Of course, they're going to be top tier cute. But then there's also like hogs and.
I think pigs are cuter than this.
Pigs.
Look at its beady little trailer park eyes.
Cattle, like sheep.
It's got bad eyes. It's in the eyes.
Okay, we're not talking about the Amazon otter, river otter.
There's a malice behind those eyes. But yeah, let's talk about the main event, dwarf. What's dwarf mean? Welcome to the Blow Up Measure Up segment, the official listeners part of the show. The part of the show when we present the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms through a quiz that's fun for the whole family. It's also part of the show that's introduced by you when you send in audio of yourself saying, singing, or shittering the words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new measure up intro this week, but that means we get to hear from an animal and Carlos has to guess what it is.
All right. Is it going to be the Never Smile at a Crocodile song?
No.
To us is this. When I hear a dulcet tone like that, it gives me a big thrill.
There's nothing dwarf about this one.
Is this the one from that Louisiana?
No, that was a good option. Princess and the Frog?
Yeah, that one.
No, but there is something very Louisiana-esque about it. About this particular one.
I don't know. There's the although he's probably an alligator. Lives in the bayou.
I cannot attest to whether it's which one of those it is.
I don't know.
It is.
Better not be another Hanna-Barbera thing because I don't know any of those.
No. It's from All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Oh goodness,
It's the song. What's it called? I just had it up. Let's Make Music Together. And it's this giant gator, and it takes place in New Orleans, 1939.
This is not a crocodile; it's an alligator.
Yeah, it's probably a gator.
All Dogs Go to Heaven. I
King
saw All
Gator.
Dogs Go to Heaven and Oliver and Company at this like around the same time, and those are the same movie in my memory. Like, I know they have obviously like way different. If you're a fan of them, you probably think I'm crazy, but like I've only seen them once, and I was probably 6, and so it's like they just blend together. I don't know the difference except the Burt Reynolds in one of them. It's kind of like I've seen You've Got Mail and Sleepless in Seattle once, and to me, in my memory, they are just the same movie.
Tonally, they're very different. Even though one of them is based on Oliver Twist's, which is very, very sad.
Yeah.
All Dogs Go to Heaven is all about a dog trying to avoid going to hell. And has scenes where he's like slipping into hell. I think maybe in his dreams, but
Oliver and Company, he spends some time with a bunch of dogs in a city setting.
Yeah.
And the same exact thing happens with All Dogs Go to Heaven. So when I think of a bunch of cartoon dogs, like Don Bluth dogs, going through a city, it's just, that's it. It's those two movies. So I did not remember the gator part of that one. Anyway, we've talked a lot about my interactions with those old movies.
Instead of that, let's talk about the length of this gator, or this crocodile. 4.9 to 6.2 feet. So it still can reach this. It still can be a 6-footer. But that's it's upper end of average, whereas the upper end of average for other crocodiles is like 13 feet.
Yeah.
So that's 1.5 to 1.9 meters. Males are slightly larger than females. 6.2 feet, is that the same as A, 4 anteater tongues? B, 2 of the crocodiles go into the SpaceX Dragon Crew Freedom capsule that just landed in the Gulf?
Topical.
Or C, 5 Shetland ponies by height?
At the Withers?
At the Withers.
5 Shetland ponies by height going to 6.2 feet. Space capsule.
Final answer?
The Dragon X, Dragon Ball Z, Budokai, space.
Yeah. Final answer.
Yes.
The correct answer is B, 2 go into the SpaceX Dragon Crew Freedom capsule. It's like 13 by 13. It's a not a square, but it's got a wide base, and it's 13 feet high, 13 feet in diameter. It's a nice little compact thing.
It's a small enclosure to enter the atmosphere in.
And 4 people were fitting in it today.
Just hugging each other real tight.
Yeah, and 2 of them were taller than they used to be.
Because of space?
Because they've been in space for months. Yeah. Let's talk about their weight. They weigh between 40 and 70 pounds. A 40-pounder, you could fling that around. It's a little guy.
Yeah, I could bench that.
You could curl that. 18 to 32 kilograms. That is the same as A. 204 go into the weight of the Freedom capsule. B, 30 elephant mice go into this African dwarf crocodile. Or C, 15 African bullfrogs.
Bullfrogs.
The correct answer is...
This capsule again.
15.9 actually African bullfrogs.
Oh, I got yeah, 2 for 2.
2 out of 2. I should have done the capsule for neither one. Because that's all I cared about today.
Yeah,
obviously I have to pick it for one of them.
I figured you were intimately aware of the details on that capsule.
Yeah, I was. But that's 100%. You can be a nurse. Nursing school victory.
I can be a nurse because I got 100% in something.
Yeah.
I 100%ed Lies of P, and now I can be a nurse.
Let's talk about some fast facts before we get into the major fact.
Sure.
They are native to West and Central Africa. They're found in countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, and the Congo Basin. They prefer slow-moving waters like swamps, marshes, forested rivers, and in lowland rainforests. They like a lot of. They sound like they like leaf litter in their waters.
Me too.
I would imagine that
tea.
you're not going to be this sized alligator, the crocodile, living in the Nile. You know, living where the big crocodiles live.
Right.
You're going to be in the jungles. They're opportunistic feeders. They eat fish, crustaceans, insects, small mammals, amphibians, and they hunt primarily at night, relying on stealth rather than speed. They're sneaky little rogue-like crocodiles. Females lay 10 to 20 eggs in a mound nest made of vegetation, which they guard. The eggs incubate for about 85 to 150 days, and hatchlings are around 11 inches long. That's pretty long, I feel like.
Yeah, it's like a foot-long baby.
A foot-long baby. I feel like alligators are smaller than that. That seems large. I feel like I don't believe that.
Huh. I don't know how. When you drive around on Florida highways, you're going to see a lot of billboards that say "Baby Gators here," and I've never stopped.
I think I've held a baby. I've held a baby gator recently.
Was it smaller than a foot?
Yeah, definitely. It was like 8 inches. Conservation status. They're maybe I'm misremembering. I know they can be like 8 inches, but I can't remember the size of the one. I could barely remember that I even held it. I just knew it was some sort of reptile.
You didn't perfectly measure and remember its size just by sight.
Yeah, I did not. They are listed as vulnerable due to habitat loss, deforestation, pollution, they're also apparently hunted for their meat and skin. Go for be a man. Go for the big ones. Go in the Nile. Go fishing in the Nile for a crocodile. Get real.
Yeah, apparently they're pretty easy to catch because they are not as aggressive as other larger crocodiles.
But as with many jungle creatures, it's very difficult to know their exact population because they live in very elusive areas, deep jungle, not places that are easy to go and count stuff in.
Also, if you think about if you live in that area and you need to hunt as part of your to get food, think about what your options are. Everything either can easily kill you or runs at like 50 miles an hour. So this is a good option for something that doesn't pose that much of a threat to you. Still does, but there's a lot of meat there and it's easier to catch than a Thompson's gazelle or a Cape buffalo.
True. As a person?
As like we're gonna go out hunting to go find meat for us to eat.
True.
Are we gonna go try and catch the things that run faster than highway speed limits, or are we gonna try to kill the things that if we don't kill it, we are dead?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But it also lives in a place where it's difficult to get to, so I don't want to traipse around the swamp.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would you rather shoot at a Cape buffalo, potentially wound it, and have it, its wrath upon you, or would you rather traipse around an African swamp?
If it was like in the forest area and I knew there weren't actual like regular crocodiles there, probably the swamp.
You know what's in there though? Like
Venomous snakes.
Billions and billions and billions of mosquitoes.
Yeah, well, you're dealing with the mosquitoes no matter what. You are in the Congo
True.
Basin, so.
But in the shade of the jungle, man. I was in, where was I? California, up in like the Yosemite area, and there on the way up, there was a little roadside like lake, and you could there's like campsites and stuff like that. And there was this one like shaded wooded area that we were going to go back into, and you could see mosquitoes. Like in the parking lot, like there were no mosquitoes. But as soon as you stepped into the woods, the mosquitoes immediately like swarmed you. Like, and it wasn't just like you see people in the movies like annoyed, traipsing through. It was like, we have to get out of here. Like so many. And you could immediately feel them just like stabbing you.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I've always thought the mosquitoes in Florida were bad, but the time that I had the worst mosquito experience I ever had was in New Mexico, like really dry, arid place. To the point where like where we were camping, we had to cover ourselves so that just our eyes were poking out, just because you could it was like rain hitting you. These mosquitoes flying into you. It was ugh. You could see the cloud of them in the sky. It was like gnats, like a cloud of gnats, but instead it was mosquitoes.
Yeah,
so,
mosquitoes are serious.
Like
when they're in the jungles and the swamps. Yeah, I would imagine it's really bad. Like to the point where you're wondering what do they eat when they can't eat hobbit. Like that's.
Yeah. But also in sub-Saharan Africa, they are not just taking from you, but they're giving you a gift as well.
There you go.
One of like 5 or 6 deadly diseases. So, I mean, if there was an option of hunting that involved no mosquitoes, I would take that. But I don't think there is.
In the bright sunlight, you're probably doing way better.
Yeah, I guess if you're hunting like a Cape buffalo, it might be more in the day, and if you're hunting one of these guys, you're hunting them at night because they come out at night. So that's a good point. I may have to go with the Cape buffalo.
Yeah, but even if you're hunting in the day in the jungle, you're in the shade where the mosquitoes. Yeah.
Anyway,
but that's all I got. I've got one more fact, but I forget what the major fact is, and this might be it. So I'm gonna let it ride.
All right. This major fact I'm calling, aren't you glad I said Savannah?
Mm-hmm.
Pause for laughter.
I'm sure it'll be so funny when I know what the major fact is.
So there is a unique population of African dwarf crocodiles that live in the Abanda caves in Gabon. I don't know how to pronounce that. I've only ever seen it written. And they are not the usual gray, black, brown hue of their scales. These guys are strikingly orange. I don't know if that was your last fact there.
No.
But no, these guys are orange. They still, like the tops, they're so, like most crocodilians, they're counter shaded. They have like very dark scales up top and then very light scales underneath. But wherever there would be white or light gray scales, specifically underneath, they are bright orange, which was a very interesting discovery by someone, a guy who was looking for evidence of like ancient caveman human civilizations in Central Africa. He went into a cave looking for drawings or artifacts or something, and instead he found orange crocodiles living in this cave. Crocodilians living in caves in general is weird, because they need the sun to warm them up sometimes as reptiles. and there just isn't. You wouldn't think there's as much food in a cave as there would be out and about. But they've adapted to this perpetual darkness. They don't rely as much on sight. This particular population, so they're still technically, Osteolaemus tetrapsis or tetraspis, the same as the other forest-dwelling or jungle-dwelling variants. But yeah, like I said, they rely on their sight less. They use their sense of smell more, as well as sensing vibrations. This vibrant orange color comes from swimming around in the alkaline mix of water and bat guano.
Very interesting. Gross.
The poop stains them orange. And there's a lot of nutrients in bat guano, and that has bleached their scales. The interesting thing is that the coloration is seen mostly in larger, older adults, and less so in the smaller and younger ones. And the prevailing theory for that is that the younger ones, since they're smaller, they can come and go out of the caves as they please, and so they don't spend as much time wallowing in bat muck. And but eventually they get too big to leave the house and turn into a Cheeto instead. So that the older ones are just prisoners in the cave, but they're not unhappy there. They eat bats, lots of bats. That's probably their main source of food. They eat them by the thousands. They eat fish and crustaceans because caves are rich havens for a lot of different species. Not quite as much variety and opportunity as there would be out in the swamps and rivers of the rainforest, but still lots of food, and more importantly, very little, if no competition at all. They don't really have to deal with large snakes or other crocodilians, or predators for that matter. And one predator of the African dwarf crocodile is the Nile crocodile, other crocodiles. So they don't have to worry about that because they can't get into the caves. They are also smaller than the outside counterparts in general. So yes, they're younger, smaller ones that can get in and out. The older, larger ones are stuck inside the cave. But even the larger ones that live in the cave and that are orange, they are just generally smaller. Maybe it's the limited food. Maybe it's the cramped quarters. It's one of those things where, like, reptiles will grow to the size of the enclosure they're in, sort of thing, like a bonsai tree. But there's a lot of theories going along with this, because it's only been relatively recently that they even discovered this population. It was in 2008 when they found them. And there's been some speculation around their genetic divergence. So one of the haplotypes, which haplotypes are a set of genes that come from one parent. So one of these haplotypes has not been found in the African dwarf crocodiles that live outside of caves. So there are new genetics being introduced, and these seem to be evolving into their own subspecies, or maybe a completely different species all on their own. And there's also theories around the guano giving them antimicrobial perks, helping them stay healthy. So it's just they live a completely different life. They have different predators, different prey. They use their senses differently. They are colored differently. one of the big mysteries is how do they breed in the caves? Do they nest in the caves? That has not been discovered yet. So, that would have a big impact on turning them into a new species if they exclusively breed with other cave dwellers.
Mm-hmm.
And then who knows? Maybe eventually they'll start being born orange. Like an Oompa Loompa.
They're small and orange.
You're small and orange. I also call it the Trump Chomp for reasons that should be apparent.
No, what I was going to say is that they have ossified body armor. The reason its name is Bone Shield, Force Shield.
Bone.
It is, yeah. Its armor isn't just tough, leathery skin. It's a network of bony plates called osteoderms that are embedded in its hide and grow with his age. It's got bone armor.
That was what I thought was cool. About crocodiles as a kid. It's just this tank of a dinosaur. It lives for a long time. It can hold its breath for a long time. It could go for months without eating. It can be in fresh water. It can be in salt water. It can go on land. It can run quickly when it wants to. It's covered in armor. It's super dangerous with its claws and its tail and its mouth. So it was just a super adaptable, surviving, lethal threat all around, and it was just a cool animal to me. No downsides.
Same reason I like the black bear.
The bear.
It's just a versatile creature. But that's all I got.
But then I found out that with a lot of crocodilians, if during the winter their metabolism slows down so much that if they eat, the food will just rot in their belly and kill them.
I know.
So,
which is crazy.
That's a pretty big Achilles heel. It's like, oh well, for these 4 months I literally can't eat, otherwise, because I'm not about to digest anything. Don't ask me to do that. But yeah. All right, that was the African dwarf crocodile. For you out there in Podcastia, set up shop in your local cave system. Cover yourself in bat guano for the, I guess, antimicrobial perks. And show off your best spray tan like the African dwarf crocodile here in life, death, and taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we now have a Patreon. Patrons can see full video episodes and get shoutouts on the show. But ultimately, it's a way for you to help us cover some costs and get even better. Still, reviews are the best way to help us grow. So if you haven't left one yet, we'd really love to hear from you. As always, thanks for listening and engaging.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
African dwarf crocodile. I almost said that 3 times.